Hello everyone, welcome back to Bits and Bob's Divination. My name is Caitlin and today we're going to be navigating the energy that's coming through for you for the month of January as well as Capricorn season. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright, so welcome back my beautiful kindred spirits and anyone new who may be joining us here on the channel here today. It's wonderful to have all of you and each of you. We are going to be looking into, as I mentioned, not only Capricorn season, but also your January blessings, the energy on its way in. We're going to be doing some lucky charms here again today and a lot of other fun things. So I hope you guys are settled and ready for this. I also want to mention that we are going to be, or rather I'm going to be opening up the New Year's reading or the year ahead readings for you, not only with snail mail this time, but also digitally this time, which I know a lot of people have been requesting and asking for. So not only am I going to be doing snail mail readings this time around that you can treasure all year round and look back on, but also you can get an email reading or a digital reading, and all of the information on that will be down below. I personally love year ahead readings. This is my favorite type of reading to do, my favorite time of the year to be doing readings. It's like this is the prime time to get a tarot reading personally, if I were to get one from another reader. So if you're interested, do feel free to check those out down below, and we're going to go ahead and look at these piles. So for the three different piles here today, we have here for pile number 1 a river rock that I found, or a lake rock, that I just feel like is this nice little half 50-50 mix of tones of black and white and light and dark that I just really love. So I really felt called to that for you all today. So that is the river stone or lake stone of pile number 1. For pile number 2 here, we have this little cluster of different clear quartz points. It has wonderful, beautiful rainbows, a little bit of black tourmaline at the bottom as well for tourmalinated quartz. So that is pile number 2. And then here, last but not least, for pile number 3, we have this piece of black tourmaline. So that is what we have going on here, this beautiful black shine. It kind of feels like a little lump of coal in a really beautiful way. So there you are with pile number 3. So before you start heading off to the timestamps and running off to your piles, I love to just give you a second here to really ground back into your energy, to really take a moment with your intuition, to get yourself into a nice Zen state. And we're going to go ahead and take a deep cleansing breath here together. So let's go ahead and do that now. And as always, there's no right or wrong way to do this. You can choose any or all of the piles. You can choose a pile and flip-flop and change your mind. There really is no right or wrong way. All of the timestamps will be down below in the description alongside the chapter marks of this video. And if you want to check out those year ahead readings, if that's something that you're interested in, to really look into and navigate your new year, then do feel free to check out all of that out down below. As it really helps to support the channel, and I really do appreciate it. And so yeah, let's go ahead and head on to pile number 1. Hello group 1, if you've decided to choose this specific stone, then this is the pile for you. Today we're going to be looking into your January blessings alongside all of the energy that's coming in and moving into this very brand new year. And alongside it, we're also going to be looking into your Capricorn messages for the Capricorn season. So we're going to be doing that using the charms as well as several different oracle decks here. And the main tarot deck here that we're going to be using, and only tarot deck really, is the Meraki Tarot. So you are settled, ready to go, feeling comfy and cozy, maybe with a nice drink or with a cozy blanket or something to do to keep your hands busy, then we're going to go ahead and get started looking into this. So do feel free to send your energy in through time and space here, and let's just get right into it. So here we go. Group 1, what do you have coming in for the main energy for the next month with January? So what are the main energetic messages coming through, the boldest, biggest messages coming through for the month of January. So you have, first off, the King of Wands here as a little fox. They also have a crown atop their head and a little robin sort of chilling up above them, which I think is really interesting. It's giving me this feeling that, like, sometimes the kings in tarot can make you feel like maybe you're the master of something, or you have everything figured out, or you have all of the answers. And this robin is making me feel like I'm feeling like that you're going to be surprised that there's more to learn, or that you're going to be kind of rejuvenized and become the student again, or to kind of come back into something again, to learn again, where you felt like maybe you've hit that finish line or you finished something. We're going to see what else comes through here, but I just immediately got that with the robin. It was calling to me. So we're going to see what else is coming through here for your month of January. There's also birch trees, which represent new beginnings. Birch trees, if you didn't know, are the type of tree that'll grow back after a forest fire. They're one of the very first trees that'll grow back. So they're very good at coming back and rejuvenizing a space. So that's maybe why I'm also getting that hint of, like, kind of bringing things back down to some sort of main level and growing back up again, kind of rediscovering your skills, maybe skills that you thought you were a master in, and you're kind of rethinking them. We also have the Six of Pentacles. Interesting. The Six of Pentacles is showcasing a little hare with some other fun creatures all chilling around, as a bunch of these pentacles are being sort of thrown about, or these crystals in this case. It also represents a lot to do with sharing, and what you're being shared is, I feel like, knowledge, a lot of knowledge and skills. So maybe even is that you're teaching others, or if it's not that you're revisiting your skills, it's that maybe you're helping someone else in your life or around you to teach them something. There might be really big lessons and wisdom that you're going to be casting off and giving to someone this month. Your cards are really chatting today, so we're going to see what else. One more card here for you, group 1. Do feel free to send your energy in, as always. That does make a big difference. Okay. So amongst those cards that just flew out of, that were all sort of upright, amongst them you had two that were sort of hidden, and I feel like they were the ones that wanted to speak or come forward, which is usually the opposite of how it works, but I thought that was really interesting. So you have here the Nine of Swords, and then you also have here the Ten of Pentacles. Very different energies, especially with that moon showing up. There's a lot of uncertainty around these two cards. There's a lot of doubt and possible anxiety or worry about something here. An imposter syndrome even is coming through, because the Ten of Pentacles showcases that you have a lot, again, of skills, a lot of capable skills, practical skills. You have a lot that you've learned and a lot of wisdom that you learned, but I feel like you're doubting it. I feel like you're doubting that wisdom, or you're revisiting it and maybe thinking, okay, well, I don't know if I have everything figured out. I don't know if what I need to say or what my leadership skills are, whatever it is that you're passing on this knowledge or this, it could even be, if it's not knowledge or skills, it could be that you are passing on like physical goods for someone, like maybe resources or something more physical and tangible. But regardless of what it is, whether it's allowing someone to have a new job position, if it's allowing you to give skills and pass down skills or wisdom or guidance, whatever that is, there seems to be a lot of doubt around it. I feel like you're doubting yourself or doubting the wisdom that you're bringing back either to yourself or to someone else, because that Nine of Swords and the fact that we also have a lot of moons that are showing up on this side of the cards, especially around the Ten of Pentacles, which showcases that you do actually have the capabilities, is that it keeps being hidden, just like the moon does, right? It gets hidden, it's not in the spotlight. It might also be because the King of Wands has a lot to do with leadership as well. It represents a leader. Not all of us and most leaders don't actually seek power or seek to be a leader, right? It just sort of falls in the hands of the person who is needed most in that time, right? Who has the right skills, who has the right practicality, who has the right wisdom for that moment of need for a leader to come forward. So you might also find yourself in a leadership position, and that doesn't mean amongst like a huge crowd of people or anything. It could just be a leader to someone younger in your life, a younger sibling, a child, a person who even just feels younger in your eyes, or just doesn't have the skills that you might have, that's kind of asking for your guidance, or seeks that guidance and wisdom from you. And it seems like I said, there's that sort of battling of yourself. I'm not a leader. I don't have the capabilities. I'm not as capable as I think that I am. Sorry about the audio shift here. I just realized I wasn't recording the audio, but it's on now. But yeah, regardless, it just seems like there's that battling here. So I want to look at more of your cards here to see if there's any guidance to move you forward past this type of energy, or if it's just going to be something that you're going to have to navigate as the month goes on, to sort of remind yourself that when those doubts come in, when you feel like that imposter syndrome, I'm not a leader, I don't have it all figured out, so why should I be the one giving this information kind of feeling, is just to remind yourself, how many people in your life have you looked up to who don't have it all figured out? My parents don't have it all figured out. My older siblings don't have it all figured out. I certainly don't have it all figured out. Yet we still have these people in our lives who we look up to, who we seek out wisdom from, to learn skills from, because we all have our own unique path, we have our own unique point of view, and those are really beautiful teachable moments that we all kind of soak up and take in, or we hope we do, right? So just reminding yourself that nobody's perfect who has ever been a leader in your life. And if you've ever put someone on a pedestal, right, and you do meet your heroes, or you do come across those people, you realize they're very flawed as well. And if anything, that just adds more character to them. So yeah, I just want to remind you of that. And we're going to go ahead and move to your next card here. And this is going to be your blessings card for the month of January. And whenever I pull these, you can see it as a blessing, you can see it as lucky energy for you, you can see it as a valuable companion, because this has a lot of really companion animals and ideas that are just going to be really on your side this month, right? So they're really good energy that's on your side, basically. So let's see what that is for you this month. Group 1, what do you have coming in for that companion? So you got nice, you got the possum and peony. Bashfulness, right? Bashfulness, feeling like you need to sort of hide or pause, or as a possum would, right, freeze, or whatever it might be, play dead, right? So it's trying to either get out of the situation, or you might find yourself freezing up or feeling, that freeze up situation. I just got the idea that some of you might be public speaking in some way too, that might be why there's this bashfulness as well that's coming through, this I don't want to be in the spotlight situation. So it might be something that you're going to have to work through, find courage in within this month. But it also seems to be that your bashfulness is going to be an energy that's most in your favor this month, which you think isn't really that helpful, right? Like, you're probably trying to work through this sort of thing. But it's also, our flaws are what we deem as flaws, what we deem as being the thing that is not moving us forward or holding us back, can also be our greatest strength, right? And so for you, working through this is going to give you a lot of courage. It's going to kind of give you your own new skills, leadership skills that you're going to be gaining. And I just think it's actually going to be more in your favor than you think. And as you move through the month, you're going to realize that freeze up. Also, once you get past that, you're going to realize how much you've gained from that. So let's go ahead and see what else you have here. So you had the possum and the peony. But I also want to look into, as I always do for these monthly readings, into a relationship message. So outside of everything that might be happening here, I just want to look into, and you can decide and send the energy in of the type of relationship you're looking into. But basically, I just want to see into a specific relationship in your life, what energy is showing up there for the month of January. So this relationship can be platonic, it can be familial, it can be with spirit, with yourself, or anything else you might be looking into. So let's see what's collectively coming in for you all, group 1, for a relationship message, sort of an energetic check-in there. What do we got here, group 1? What do we got? I feel like you got 2. Interesting. Okay, so the first one that came out is dare. And it says, take a risk and fly. And then we have more of that sort of robin energy. You can even see they're very similar birds. It's almost like daring you to fly or to flee the situation. But it also, outside of even what we've already been talking about, and I guess that's just a reminder not to freeze up, but it also is just to dare yourself to maybe make a move with someone, to dare yourself to be bolder, to be braver, to be more fearless, or to speak something that needs to be spoken in a relationship. And then you also have here forgiveness. A crushed flower still gives off a sweet scent. And you might be feeling a bit of both of these, a combination, or you might be feeling one or either. But with this, these are the 2 cards that you're getting for some guidance or just an energetic check-in for your relationships this month. So when it comes to forgiveness as well, a crushed flower still gives off a sweet scent. It's also just, I feel like, a card for specifically with what you've been getting here, to forgive yourself a little bit to make mistakes. I think you put a lot of pressure on yourself, and allowing yourself to make mistakes as well, to take that crown off and remind yourself that you, as a leader, doesn't mean that you're also, like I said, have everything figured out. You can meet people at the same level as they are at. You know, you can meet them at their eye level, at their skill level, at whatever it might be. And I think you have the skills to do that. And I think it's just forgiving yourself and allowing yourself to be a little bit more free there. But do feel free to look into these and see how you're feeling about them in terms of the specific relationship you were looking into. And our last card that we're going to pull here today before we move on to your charms is a card on Capricorn season. But if you have been enjoying this reading so far, if you have gotten something out of it, do feel free to like this video, and feel free to subscribe as well, as I put out these new videos every Monday. But let's go ahead and see Capricorn season. So Capricorn season is an interesting one because I feel like Capricorns, the sea goat, they don't get a lot of great rep. I feel like they get told that they're tunnel vision, workaholics, they're cold, they're sharp, they're this, they're that, right? There's a lot of negative attributes that we give to Capricorns, or ones that feel kind of rigid. And yes, that can be true for many Capricorns, but at the same time, there's a lot of really beautiful things that we can learn about and from Capricorns, and the idea that they are very practical. They have that earth energy, that cardinal energy that bring them back down to earth, that ground them in reality. They are very aware, and not necessarily that they always go after the things that they're aware about, but Capricorns are very aware of their role in society, of where they are on a hierarchy. They're very good at planting their feet in reality and are very grounded in reality. And because of that, that also makes them really good observers of reality, and are really good at quickly making practical, useful, thought out decisions and plans and organizations in their life, because they really narrow everything down. They purge out what isn't useful, and they can narrow things down. If you think of like those math problems where they always try to trip you up by telling you the size of Sally's house or something, and when it wasn't even useful, they're really good at just like getting rid of that kind of just noise, so they can ground everything back down. So what is it in your life that we're going to be taking in from these cards that you could become more practical of, that you could ground back into, that you could become more skilled in and refine? So we're going to see what that is for you. It's kind of like a reality check card in a really useful way. So what is coming in for that for you for Capricorn season? Group 1. Oh, okay. this is one of my favorite cards in the deck, and it's just one that I just don't feel like gets talked about enough. But we have here Pimpernel. And the story of the Pimpernel and what we have shown up here is the idea that Pimpernel is a flower that grew from a person who came across a crossroads, right? They were at a fork in a road. And because they never made a decision, they never chose left, they never chose right, they never moved forward, they just ended up staying there and becoming a Pimpernel at this crossroads. And it continued to happen again and again until more Pimpernels just continued to grow at this road, because more people were stopping to smell the flowers, more people weren't listening to their body, more people were getting thrown off by the scent, and all those sorts of things. And because of this, it continues a trend, right? And so for you in your life, there might be something that you keep finding yourself hitting a wall or hitting this crossroads and feeling like there's just no way to move past it, or you get distracted, or you move this way and you move away from that reality check, right? Because it's easier, or you need that escapism. So whatever that is in your life, this is just a reminder this Capricorn season to really take advantage of noticing when you are using these tactics, these habits, these behaviors to stop yourself from moving forward, because the wall tends to be you. And I know that doesn't always sound very nice, right? We don't want to be like, oh, I'm the wall. But sometimes we can be our own, wall. Sometimes we can be the reason why we're not moving forward. And so maybe taking some time this month to seek out where that wall is coming from, and maybe that has something to do with this that we mentioned earlier. But regardless, you're going to have a lot of really beautiful growth when you dare yourself to move forward, when you dare yourself to fly, when you dare yourself to take a step outside of your comfort zone, and to really listen to your own inner compass as well, because I feel like that wall is also because you aren't listening to what your body is telling you and those habits are telling you, because you're kind of just, and we've all been there, I've been there, so I'm not saying this, I hope this isn't coming across in a harsh way, but it's just a reminder that sometimes we can be our worst enemy, we can be the wall that stops us. And so in that same token, you also have the ability to be the door, to be the key, to be the person that moves past that, to be the compass to move you forward. So just reminding you that you have a little bit more to you than you think. So with this in mind, I wanted to do one quick little charm cast here to finish off your reading, and we're going to see just a few charms that are coming in for you for the month. I think actually what I want to do is, last week I did this as well, and I think I would like to maybe do this every month, is to look into your lucky charms for the month. So I did this for the yearly reading last week, but I want to look into your lucky charms specifically for this month of January. So here we go. Group 1. Send in your energy and we'll look into those lucky charms, signs, and signals of guidance coming through for you. Okay. So I'm going to zoom you in and we can see here together what we've got. So we have 4 different charms. Interestingly, they all definitely make sense. We've got the Mickey hat charm. This is a very fantastical charm. It reminds me of believing in magic, being able to put on your wizard's hat and make anything happen. It's very fantastical. It's very not Capricorn, but it's a reminder that that is a really beautiful skill for you, and to not, just because you're trying to maybe ground back into reality here, doesn't mean that you need to take away that fantastical, imaginative, creative element from you, because that's still a real big strength for you this month. Community as well. The idea of community is coming through for a lucky charm for you. So those in your community are going to help you feel luckier, feel more like there's more possibility, more opportunity for you. So looking to your community, whether that's online, whether that's offline, whether that's at community events, whether that's just a friend, whatever that might be, listen to your community. They have a lot more there for you this month. You also have the Scaredy Cat charm, which is a really beautiful one to get lucky. It's reminding yourself that those moments where you hit that wall, where you feel like you're feeling that like, oh no, I'm good, I'm gonna stop here, that gut feeling that we we think is a gut feeling, but it's usually just anxiety, is just a reminder that it's okay to dabble a little outside of the lines and see what happens. That dare feeling. And that's going to come to be more lucky of a situation than you think. And lastly, here you have if you've ever sewn before, you can use this to thread a needle. So it requires a lot of focus. Whenever I see this charm, it reminds me of great focus. So also, your focus, whatever it might be that you're really putting your mind to and really focusing on this month, is also going to be quite lucky for you. And that's probably just because you're putting, your mind to it. But it's also just reminding yourself that you're opening new doors and possibilities by making action, by taking and putting focus towards something. Those are all of your cards and charms here. I feel like I was very chatty with your pile, but I hope this was useful and helpful for you this month. If you did enjoy this reading, if you did get something out of it, like I mentioned before, do be sure to give this video a like. It really helps with the algorithm and YouTube and all that fun stuff. But also, you can subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and join this little growing community here. I'd love to have you, and I'd love to be able to read for you every single week, especially in this new year. And also, you are welcome to check out the other things that I'm offering this month, as I have New Year's readings that are up right now. So if you want to get readings that are on your full spans of the entire year, readings about the energetic network of your year, looking into those nitty-gritty details in both snail mail reading formats as well as year-ahead readings in digital formats or emails, then do feel free to check that all out down below, as well as on my Instagram, as that's where all of the magic happens. So I do hope you found this useful, and I'm wishing you the best in the new year, in this new month of January, full of many possibilities and a leadership opportunity for you. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello Group 2, if you've decided to choose this piece of quartz, then this is the pile for you for your month of January, as well as Capricorn season. So I'm going to go ahead and set this down for you so you can see it during your reading today, as we are going to be using the charms as well as several different oracle decks here, and the tarot deck of choice today is the Meraki Tarot. So if you are settled, ready to go, got a beverage of choice, a nice cozy blanket, or something to stim with, or just something to kind of chill yourself out to, then we're going to go ahead and get started. So do feel free to send your energy in through time and space. As always, that makes a huge difference, especially in collective readings like these, where there's a lot of banging of energy all around. You are always welcome to your own insights, your own intuition to come through here as well, to listen to your own insights. That's always important as we co-create these readings together. But first, we're going to be starting out by looking into 3 cards on what those main energies are that are coming through for you this month of January. Also, Happy New Year to everyone who celebrates the new year around this time. And I'm actually filming this in the previous year, which I think is funny. So if you guys have flying cars now, that's pretty cool. But yeah, let's go ahead and see what you have coming through. Alright, so first off, the 9 of Cups. I feel like there's more. We'll see what else we've got here. So the first 2 cards are the 9 of Cups and the Magician. Alright, lots of energy in your corner this month, with the 9 of Cups being a card about wishes. So if you have been trying to manifest something energetically, magically, or just been really trying, maybe you've been doing a vision board or something like that, if you have something that you've been really trying to focus in on to manifest, then there is really good potential for that happening in the time period that you have set for that. Otherwise, this is, like I said, a wish-making card, so this is a great time to dream and to fantasize and to make wishes and to try something new and to play around with that imaginative, magical energy, especially since you have the Magician as well, which showcases that you have all the items, all the skills, all the practicality, everything that you could possibly need to align for this to happen, you have in your corner. That isn't to say that you have it in the ways that you maybe want, right? So I'm thinking like in terms of symbolically, you have all the symbols of the pentacles, the swords, the cups and also the wands in this card, right? So if you think of those as the resources and things that you need to make something manifest and happen this month, this is showcasing to me that you have them in your corner. Whether that's the sharpest sword or the best wand or the best cup or, so on, isn't necessarily what we're talking about though. So this isn't to say that you're not going to have to ask a friend for a resource that you don't currently have, or ask spirit or whatever it might be to make this happen and to manifest it for the fulfillment, for the success, for the excitement of this to happen. It isn't to say that you have it in the way that you necessarily want it, but it is available to you if you search and look for it and if you get a little bit more clever about it. So that was what was coming through first and foremost for you. But let's see what else. So you also have the Three of Swords. Interesting. That's kind of put a completely different idea into everything. You also have the Three of Cups on the bottom, showcasing more of that community. So I can see that some of you are maybe using, like I said, asking your sister for something or asking for help in some way because someone has that tool that you need to make something happen or to manifest something forward, right? When we ask for wishes, when we ask for something to come forward, when we're asking spirit, we're praying, we're doing whatever it might be, that also requires in the real world or the physical world rather, it asks of us to, follow that, to actually put action to that, to create habits, to create a world in which that can actually happen. So whatever it is you're manifesting, a new job, a new pair of sneakers, a new home or apartment, whatever it might be, it seems that has to happen with some action on your end. And that requires a bit of resourcefulness to look towards other places to ask community members. You know what? I'm actually going to go ahead and pull that card out because it feels important for your guys' pile. So like I said, that Three of Cups represents community. It doesn't have to be a huge community that you're asking favors for or asking for help for. But I do think that they have wisdom, research, they have ideas for you that are just waiting to help this manifest, whatever it might be. So whatever you're hoping that vision board to come to fruition with, that's coming in heavily with your pile. Alongside that, though, we also have a very kind of a wild card here of the Three of Swords. And the Three of Swords, usually a lot of people see it and there's three swords stabbing a heart. It doesn't look like a great situation. It doesn't look like it's doing too well. So there can be a little bit of heartbreak, a little bit of confusion as well, as what I always usually see with this card, as well as it can represent, that confusion from what your head and your heart wants, a little bit of that heartbreak almost in between and trying to figure that out is what I'm getting most from your pile too, is that maybe it's not heartbreak in like a love situation or in a with another relationship situation, although if that's resonating for you, like always, co-create these readings and see what comes through for you. But what I'm really getting here is a change of heart, and because of that, it's making it really difficult for your head and your heart to kind of decide or to work together, right? There's this resistance there. And so maybe that's also why you need some help. Maybe that's also why asking for others for advice, for resources, for ideas could be really helpful as well, because you might not be in the perfect emotional state or the perfect place for that to come through in the way that you're hoping, especially at the beginning of a new year, right? A lot of us can feel that confusion of where am I going? What is next? Where, trying to find direction. So I see that as well, because it seems like you really do, you're quite a dreamer, you're quite a, you have a lot of ideas and a lot of things you're wanting to make happen this year, but they still feel like maybe a fantasy, a dream, something outside of your reality. And the only way for it to root in your reality is to create roots now, or to create, small things that you bring into the actions that you're taking, like I mentioned earlier. So I want to see what else is coming through for the rest of your pile here, but I do really like the energy that you have here, you have a lot of potential for a really beautiful month to unfold, but it really does require a lot of kind of bravery on your part. It made me think of, like, if you've ever watched Bob Ross, I just got the idea of him being like a bravery test where he throws a giant, like you've done this beautiful painting and then you have to throw this giant new thing into the painting, like a big tree or, you know, a barn or whatever it might be. Those of you who haven't watched Bob Ross, though, basically it's a bravery test. I feel a bravery test for you this month. And I think that if you take that quest, that bravery test quest, you're going to get a lot more out of the month than you might have had you not taken that quest. So let's go ahead and see your blessing for the month. So I like to use these cards to look into a specific blessing. You can also see this as just like, especially since this says animals and plants. So they're like plants and animals that are on your side most this month, and energy that's on your side most this month. And we're going to look into the reasons why as well. So let's see what that is for you this month. Group 2, do feel free to send your energy in. Group 2. Okay, so the top card that you got here, you had first adaptability as well as safety, in case those resonated for any of you. But the one that you actually ended up getting and unfolding here for you is productivity with the bee and pomegranate. Personally for me, and you might have personal gnosis here as well, but personally for me, I associate bees with my mom, but you might see that very differently. So for some of you, that might be a signal for you or something else. But outside of that, just in general, I'm really getting this like call towards the pomegranate, and the idea of like the pomegranate representing kind of moving to the underworld, moving to a different plane almost. And I feel like for you to be productive, it requires a bit of creativity, a bit of fun, a bit of fantasy, a bit of playfulness and dreaming for it to happen. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And I think that there might be people in your life who are like, you know, let's be more reliable, let's be more productive, let's make sure this happens in this, A, B, C, you know, kind of boring. And I feel like you personally have a very creative, a very open-minded, a very unique spirit to you that's really hard to define, and I think that's going to be your superpower this month. I think that making sure that you don't become that sort of stale cracker energy is going to be really important for you to create productivity, to follow that curiosity, that playful dreamery spirit is really important for you this month. So definitely play in that. And I think that's going to help you with that heart to head energy. And I think that that's maybe why there could be a rift there, is that like there's almost like reality versus fantasy, making your dreams become a reality. So how do you kind of link those two up? And you're having a hard time with that linkage. And I think that that's going to come with just starting. Start small. Sure, you can do something really small. Like I always use this example that I learned from like a soul color book by Emma Burley, but there's the idea that, say you want to become a runner, right? You don't have to start running the first day. The first thing you're going to want to do is probably just move your shoes to the door. And that could be the simple step that you take that day to just make that action start to get closer. And then the next day, maybe you just try on the shoes and then put them off. And then the next day, maybe you try on the shoes and walk on the porch with them, right? Take small steps and build on them. But those steps are going to create that productivity to help with that rift for the month. So that's what I'm getting here. It's a really wonderful energy to get, so I'm loving this for you. But let's keep continuing on. So we're going to look in the Secret Garden deck here to look for the main energy really that's coming through, or any main guidance that's coming through for you for a specific relationship that you want to send in your life. This can be a relationship with spirit, with yourself. It can be a relationship with a friend, a family member, a relationship with a loved one, or someone that you're romantically involved with, however you wish to see it. But do feel free to send that energy in so that we can have a more close collective energy. But let's see, collectively, what is the guidance, advice, or main energy coming through for you this month? Okay. So we have wallflower here, and it says, look for the crack in the concrete to find your way out. So it might be that you're maybe in a tough spot with someone right now, with a family member, with a friend, whoever it is that you were really feeling called to, or if you were looking for general guidance just in general as you move through the month, maybe seeing where you're a wallflower socially, or where you might just be feeling a bit of that looking for a way out. I also got the idea too, right, that you're looking for a way out, and we talked about earlier that community is really important to you this month and is going to be the key to help move you forward, a resource for you to help move forward and move and create that rift, or rather to lessen that rift in that head and heart energy. So also a reminder too that they might be that way out for you. Right, they're going to help you not just be the wallflower, but also find a way out of that crack. So do look at this. It could flip or flop depending on how you are looking at it and which relationship you're looking at, but you did get wallflower this month. And here for your final card before we move on to your charms, we're going to look into Capricorn season. Also, if you've been enjoying this reading so far, it would be awesome if you could take a second to like this reading, and also to subscribe if you'd like to, or even comment. It really does help with the algorithm. And also, I just love having new community members here too. So do feel free to share and all of that. But we're going to go ahead and look at your Capricorn message. So I love to do stuff on the different zodiac season, and right now we are in Capricorn season, which Capricorns get such a bad rep. I feel like they get told that they're tunnel vision and workaholics, and they are stone cold, and they have that earthly stern energy. And this isn't to say that some Capricorns don't fall in some of those categories. All of the zodiac signs have their things, but they have wonderful attributes too, in the fact that they are really grounded in reality, which is kind of the opposite of what we have showing up here. You're quite the dreamer that's showing up here, but Capricorns can be very grounded in reality, and because of that, they can be very practical and very sensible. And also, it helps them with decision making and quick thinking, because they can think on their feet really well, because they have a lot of wealth of information that they've soaked in like a sponge. So I want to look into how you can use this Capricorn energy to make more practical decisions and to help with this rift possibly that's been growing between that head and heart energy. So we're going to see what shows up for you for this Capricorn season. Group one. What do you got showing up here? Group 1, Group 2. Don't know why 1 was in my head. Group 2. What do you got showing up here? All right. So you got Rose. And immediately when I said that, I got this feeling as well of like the word arose, right? Like you have arisen from something. There's a rising of energy. So if you feel like you've also been having a low energy levels lately, that also feels like it's rising back up this month and throughout Capricorn season. This also is the number 41 and is within the fall suit, in case that resonates for anyone. Fall being a lot about change and transformation and personal metamorphosis. But what I get here is I'm really called to like these prayer beads, and the idea of like faith and that magician energy and that like feeling of like believing in the unseen, believing is seeing versus seeing is believing kind of energy is coming through. And so even though Capricorn season is all about being practical, rooted in reality, all of that kind of stuff, I feel like it's still reminding you, and it's still being like, hey, no, you be a dreamer. It's like being like, no, I know we could talk about Capricorn season and you could take advantage of that, but that's not what this is about for you. This month is about being a dreamer. It's about following a dream and then moving it into reality, right? And bringing it back down. So there is this like link that we're kind of linking back up where it feels like it wasn't linked here, right? It's like not linking up properly. So also with Rose, this has a lot to do with and is a reminder as well to not like hold in any resentment or secrets and things like that, which with that wallflower as well, maybe that's why you're reconnecting with certain community members to gain back those resources, because there is possible forgiveness closing up a rift, closing up a crack that may have formed there. So that's also being shown here to help with this. So that's what I'm getting here from your cards this month, but I want to end this reading doing something kind of fun. We did this last week as well, and I want to maybe do this every monthly reading, is to look into your lucky charms for the month. So we already kind of looked into your lucky charms for a new path you might be taking as I was doing that more yearly reading, but these ones will be specific to January. So let's see what those are for you. So do feel free to send your energy in through time and space. Here, group 2, and we'll look here for you. So group 2, your personal lucky charms for January. Okay, so let's dip on into this and see what you've got here. So you have a few different ones. You have the purple, this is the crown energy center or chakra, if you follow that ideology and those ideas. But this is like the chakra or energy center that is all about kind of in that like fantastical dreamery state. It also is a connection to spirit. So spirit is really on your side this month. They're going to be really lucky in helping you out. So asking for guidance from your personal guides, your angels, your loved ones beyond the veil, those sorts of things are going to be really useful and helpful, adding any offerings as well to them. You also have this charm, which represents more of that practical energy, which I think is interesting that the two beads that you got were both one that's very rooted and deep in reality and one that's also a bit fantastical. So it's showing up in many different ways for your reading. But I always see this as like kind of slicing things off and sort of purging things down and whittling things down. So that's what I'm getting here, is like this whittling energy. So it could also be that some of you might see these more practically or more specifically to like a craft that maybe you whittle, or maybe you are a carver or something like that. So that could just be something that you're lucky in. You also have the letter Q showing up here. So the letter Q usually when it shows up reminds me that there are lots of questions, that though following your questions to find answers is going to be a really lucky thing to do this month, and is going to give you a wealth of possibilities and opportunities that you might not have had you not followed that sort of quest energy. And then your last two charms showcase sort of a similar energy. You have the breaking a cycle charm, right? Breaking a habit, breaking a cycle, breaking something off, and finding that key to break it. So that's showing up here. And then, so that's going to be a really lucky thing for you to do, but it's also if you take advantage of it. And then you also have the bird of freedom, of flight, of lightness, of thinking light on your feet. So I'm getting like this really witty, kind of humorous energy from this charm, which I don't normally, but it just feels like you have really good wit that's going to help maybe create lucky possibilities as well for you, or just in general to look into the symbology of birds this month. So those are all of your charms and cards for this month of January. I know I was really talkative with these ones today. It is a new deck that I've been playing with, which always gets my intuition just sort of rolling in these really beautiful waves. So I do hope you enjoyed the chattiness. Do feel free, like I mentioned earlier, to give this video a like, and also feel free to subscribe to this channel as I put out new readings every single Monday for all sorts of different things on this channel, and also dabble around in artistic and creative art magic videos. So if that's something that interests you, or anything else in the magical realm, do feel free to check all of that out down below, or by subscribing. And if you'd also like to support this channel as well as support yourself as we move into this new year, I am offering both digital and snail mail readings for all of you to get a year ahead reading. So these are my personal favorite readings to do every year. I always look forward to this time of year, not only for a reading for myself, but also I just love doing these types of readings. I just feel like they open so many opportunities, new doors, new perspectives, and are just a wealth of opportunity for the new year. So do feel free to check those out if you are interested in looking into the new possibilities coming in for you and how that reflects in your previous year and all that kind of fun stuff down below for a year ahead reading. And I hope you did enjoy. Do feel free to check out my Instagram as well if you'd like to for more information on those. And I think that is everything. I'm wishing you the best in your new year and with the new first month of the year. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello group 3, if you decide to choose this piece of black tourmaline, then this is the pile for you to look into your January blessings and energy, as well as Capricorn season for you and how you can take advantage of it. We're going to be doing that through the charms as well as several different oracle decks here, and the specific tarot deck we're using here today is the new to me and one of my new favorites, the Meraki Tarot. So we are going to go ahead and get started here in a second, but do feel free to get cozy. Grab yourself a cozy blanket, a nice drink or beverage, maybe something to stim with or something to just chill out to, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So do feel free, as always, this always helps in collective readings, to send your own energy in through time and space here. It seems silly, but it really does make a difference. So thank you to everyone who sends that in. And yeah, let's go ahead and just start looking in. So let's see, group 3, what do you have coming in for the month of January? What's coming in most energetically for the month of January for you, group 3? Okay, already got Judgment throwing out here first. Want to see what else. We also have the Emperor. Okay, so we have, first off, throwing itself out right here. And the reason why I'm saying throwing it out is almost feels like this energy wants to just like, it almost felt like throwing paint at like a wall. It felt really like impulsive almost. So we have this impulsive energy of the Judgment card alongside the energy of the Emperor. Very interesting cards to get together. The Emperor is usually quite kind of stuck in their ways. Oh, sorry, no, it's the Empress. Maybe that's why it felt a little off. Okay, so we have the Empress here, the Empress here, which feels much more aligned. So we're going to see your final card, and we'll talk about what's going on here. So group 3, what else do you have? It'd be funny if you got the Emperor now. But group 3, what else is coming through for you? Alright, and we also have the Ace of Pentacles. So fun. Last week I just did an entire reading all about the idea of the aces being new opportunities. So after this reading, if you're feeling called to it, do feel free to check that one out as well. Specifically, since you got an ace in the new year, that's a great time to get it. Especially with the first of anything, the first of a new year, the first month of the new year, and then getting the first in a specifically in the pentacle suit is really lucky, really beautiful energy to be getting. What I always like to mention about aces is they are basically like little seeds. So you have an opportunity this month for something, and we'll talk about what that something sort of is aligned with these two cards, but you have something coming in physically in your world, something tangible that you can hold. So think of this as like a new job or the keys to a new car or a new gift in your life or a skill that you're working on, right? It could be something repetitive or whatever it might be, but it feels like you're like working with your hands. But this Ace of Pentacles and any ace in a deck represents an opportunity, that first little seedling. So think of it as that little seed that you put in a pot and you hope that it grows. The only way that it's going to grow is if you put action to it, right? You can look at it all day, but if you don't give it the sunlight, if you don't give it the water, if you don't give it the needs that it has, it's never going to grow to be anything that you hope it to be. So if you have something on your vision board, if you have something you're wanting to manifest in the new year, if you have something that's been on your mind for a while that you've been dreaming and trying to manifest, which is kind of similar to the last pile too. So if you find that this isn't fully aligning, do feel free to check out pile 2, or both. There seems to be an opportunity for that this month. So following that opportunity, making that seedling happen is going to be, this is a really prime time to do it, right? This is the prime time to start actually putting action to those goals, to those dreams, to those fantastical things that feel like they couldn't ever be. And what I find interesting is you also got a card all about creativity. So this also showcases that you are a very creative mind. You have a lot of not only imagination, but it also just feels like, again, like I feel like you're working with your hands. A new skill is coming through the most here. I just feel like you guys are working with your hands, writing, drawing, painting, playing guitar, making boats and baskets, whatever it might be, whatever your skill is, or it could even be something more digitally based. But I just feel like you're getting really creative with it. There's a really beautiful creation energy that comes through with the Empress. And then you also have the Judgment card, which represents an evolution. It represents evolving your skills. It represents a wake-up call as well. So that might be sort of that same feeling, right? A wake-up call to actually start putting these new skills to action to make this happen, or putting maybe the new skills are what it is that you're trying to create and evolve into. Regardless, what I'm getting most for your month energetically is that you have a lot of creativity. You have a lot of potential for some new seedling to grow, a new kindling to get a fire going in something that's more tangible. So like a house, a skill, a apartment, a job, a new car, whatever it might be. It could even be something much smaller, a pencil set. But it does seem like it's going to help evolve your skills. It's going to help you evolve to help you get to that next level. This is the next level card, right? So it's helping you level up in something creative. So I want to see a little bit more context that might be coming through, or just in general more energy for you for the month. So we're going to be using these cards, the Woodland Wardens, to look into a specific blessing for the month of January. And if you don't really like the idea of blessings, you can also see this as just an energy that's most in your favor for this month, or a specific little creature or flora or fauna that's on your side this month. So let's see what that is for you. So group 3, your blessing for the month of January, or specific creature or flora that's coming through most for you. So let's see. All right, so you have the wolf and rose hip, guardianship. Interesting that you would get this one. It represents feeling like you need to guard something, right? The wolf, guards their pack. The rose hip also can be very similar in that way. But it feels like a guardianship. It also feels like someone might be, I feel like you might have someone sort of looking over you as well this month. That you have someone that's really on your side. It can be someone that's not like beyond the veil, or someone who has passed, but it can just be that someone is really on your side this month, really trying to help you out, trying to give you some advice, trying to give you something that you might need. Again, this is very similar to pile number 2, so do feel free to check them both out if you're curious. But I do feel that. I also feel with guardianship, it does represent that you might be guarding something. So maybe keeping your ideas that you're trying to grow here to only a select few people. Don't let I'm feeling specifically from these evil eyes. The idea that there might be someone in your life who's trying to put you down about something that you're trying to manifest, something that you're trying to grow, or something you're trying to do here and create and learn and build new skills on. There might be someone who makes fun of it, that gaslights you in it, that tries to kind of make it hard for this to happen. I can see that might show up, that person might show up, or even that inner voice might show up this month. And so having them on your side as sort of a wolf guardian within you, or a personal spirit guide, or someone who's in your life that is kind of baring their teeth and kind of telling them off, is really awesome. So I can see that can be showing up here, that you definitely have someone on your side looking out for you this month. And if that isn't someone you can physically see, then someone beyond the veil and or a guide of yours. So that's really interesting that came through with this card, but I do really feel that way. Moving on to your next card, we're going to be looking into your a relationship kind of energetic relationship reading here. So basically we're going to be looking into any advice, guidance, or a big energy that might be showing up within your relationships this month. And you're welcome to send in, as this is a collective reading, we'll see what comes up, but you're welcome to send in a specific person you might be thinking about, and what might show up there for you. So that could be a friend, a family member, yourself, a spirit guide, or anyone else. But we're going to see a relationship message card here for you this month of January. Group 3. What do we got showing up here, group 3? Do feel free to send that energy in. Okay. So on the bottom, I was also feeling called to this card, so I'm going to take them both. You have the card of release, which was on the bottom of the deck, and it says lighten your load. And so there's a little wheelbarrow here that's more light and has less in it. So there's something about lightening your load. So I can feel that again with that idea of kind of letting someone not be in your path this month, kind of moving around them or having this guardianship energy, this shield. But alongside that, you might have someone who you might be playing with in the idea with playing new ideas or putting new stuff on the table, because we have play. Among the grass and wild violets lie undisturbed little secrets to uncover. So like I said, I think that there is possibly people in your life who you don't need to be sharing this information with right now, that it's not really that useful to be telling, your aunt or your uncle or your, best friend or someone who you maybe aren't feeling that confident in telling right now, that this isn't maybe not the month to do that. But there also are people in your life who I feel like are on your side who might be really useful to tell, because they're going to be able to give you a little bit more advice and help you play in this new space, and maybe even give you a bit of encouragement there. So there's a bit of juxtaposition there, but do seek out those who you feel would best be on your side, and guard yourself from those who maybe would not. So especially when it's such a vulnerable state, such a small little seedling, right? So we're going to move on to your final card here, which is going to be your Capricorn message before we move on to your lucky charms of the month, which I'll talk about that more in a second, as well as your Capricorn message. But if you have been enjoying this reading so far, if you have gotten something out of it, if you found it really useful, do feel free to hit the like button. It really does help the channel and the algorithm and all of that fun stuff. And I really do appreciate it. It really goes a long way. You're also welcome to subscribe as well if you haven't already to this channel, but we are going to go ahead and look at your Capricorn message. So with each of the new zodiac seasons, I like to do a zodiac themed message, and this one is going to be on Capricorn. And if you guys are aware of the zodiac, then you'll know that a lot of people put this one in kind of like the dumpster fire pile. Like, a lot of people always say that they are tunnel visioned and sharp and very rigid kind of people. They are very workaholic kind of people. They are kind of too rooted in certain things. But like all zodiac signs, we all have the things that are maybe not so great, but what we don't talk about enough is how practical and rooted in reality the Capricorn person is. And so how you can utilize this energy for yourself moving into this month. I want to look into a card that can showcase a practical part of you, something that you can root into your reality, especially since you're growing new roots, something new that you can root in your reality this month, and how you can use it from the perspective of Capricorn, and how practical, how thoughtful, and how they look at a problem from every angle. And that's what helps them create the best possible decision to move forward. So we're going to see what that is for you, your Capricorn message, how you can root yourself in reality here. Group 3. Ooh, you have Cherry. Very fun. We have another kind of new beginnings energy, right? Because aces are also new beginnings, new life, new growth. You have Cherry, which is in the spring suit, and it is also the number 7, which can represent a lot of introspection. So it might be something you've been thinking about for a long time. But yeah, you have Cherry here, and you also have a really beautiful bird that's showing up. Because of this, I wanted to talk about the idea of what Cherry brings to the table. And Cherry is all about like the idea of productivity, because the cherry tree blooms, one of the first to bloom in the spring. They're the first to bring hope. They're the first to grow and bear fruit in the new season. So in this new year, you also might be one of the first people to bear fruit, the first person to have something grow, the first person to have that bloom as this continues to grow. And the only reason that's happening is because right now is the perfect, maybe not perfect, right? Nothing's perfect, but a very useful time for you. Right now is a really prime time for you for this growth, for this new skill, for this new evolution that you're going to be following. And that's why I think it's so important for you to really stick to that supportive circle and not let other people in at this time, because it's such a vulnerable state for this to be growing. But as you grow, I think people are going to take notice of that fruit. People are going to take notice as you get stronger. So this is just reminding you this season to allow yourself to bloom, allow yourself to bear this fruit, allow yourself to harvest the wonderfulness of what you're going to grow here. But also as a reminder that means having to actually make action to it, actually putting it into the universe, actually trying and making something happen here. Which, as someone who loves to procrastinate, I know it can be really easy to do that, but it seems that this is a really playful, very prime time for this to happen, especially within this Capricorn season. So I want to go ahead and move on to your final bit of this reading, and we're going to look into your charms, your lucky charms for the month of January. And in our last reading, like I said, we talked about aces, but we also did do a really fun thing of looking into your lucky charms for that new path that you'd be taking. But in this case, we're going to be looking into specifically the lucky charms, symbols, and guidance that's coming through for you for the month of January. So let's see what that is for you. Do feel free to send your energy in through time and space here. And let's see, group 3. Okay, so you didn't have a ton of them. I was feeling really called to these first 2, which were the X charm as well as the conversations charm with the little teacup. So you can see these as actually having a cup of tea, having lucky cups of tea every morning, stirring beautiful intentions into your tea or something like that, or your coffee or your morning drink. But you can also see these in less practical ways or less realistic ways and more symbolic. But you also have that like in the X's and O's of tic-tac-toe, which can represent, thinking ahead. It can represent thinking ahead in that sort of way. It can also represent that playing games, like physically playing board games can be a really lucky thing to help you play, to reconnect with a loved one, or something like that might be showing up for some of you. And maybe that's how you might bring up the conversation that, hey, I think I want to start doing this new thing, might be a really good time. It also could be showcasing that you might be having conversations with an ex that might be more useful to you this month. That could be showing up as well. I could see healing showing up there. But mostly I'm getting more of the game side of this, to be honest. And then lastly here you have the falling in love charm. But I'm seeing this more in the idea that like whatever it is that you are building here is going to really bear its fruit. It's going to really shine the most and be at its strongest, right? It's going to be like if you're growing this little seedling, it's going to be at its strongest by the fall. So I'm seeing this also in like a more practical way that way. So that's what I'm really getting here. You might see these in different ways, so just look out for teacups. Look out, like if you're at the thrift store and you see a certain symbol on a teacup and that represents something for you, listen to that. Listen to what your intuition is showing you. Maybe you're playing a lot of games. Maybe that is going to help for opening these new routes of conversation with someone. There also is that falling in love as well, so you never know. So that's what we have showing up here for you for the month of January. I hope this has been useful for you so far. If you did enjoy this reading, do be sure, as I mentioned, to give this video a like, and do feel free to subscribe to our little space here on the internet, full of kindred spirits. I would love to have you join as I put out new readings every single Monday. And if you would like to join me on these year ahead readings that I'm offering right now, do feel free to check out all of the information on that down below, because these are my absolute favorite readings to do every single year, and I know so many others really enjoy them because they're really great roadmaps, compasses, and sort of tools to help you navigate the new year. And is honestly a really great place where tarot really shines, is in a new year. So do feel free to check those out down below. They're not only going to be snail mail readings this time, but I'm also opening up some digital books. So do feel free to check those all out down below for the month of January. And yeah, do feel free to check those out also to support the channel. And I'm wishing you the best in this new year, in January, and this 2023 situation we're going into. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.